Enjoy this on a bank holiday Monday. It's the distinctive voice of the legendary Adge Cutler. And today there are tributes taking place across the region for Adge Cutler, the former lead singer of the Wurzels. It's 40 years since Adge sadly died in a car accident after a concert. And current band member Tommy Banner is performing at a memorial gig in Bristol tonight, and I'm very pleased to say Tommy joins me now. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Brent.
How are you? Yeah, I'm good. You all right?
Yeah, fine, Ben. But it's a bit early for me.
I know. I'm very grateful for you for getting up so early to talk to me. 40. Can you believe it's 40 years?
No, can't really believe it's 40 years. Yesterday was a strange day because it was actually yesterday that, by the day of the week, it was a Sunday morning. And it's strange, and it's always the same every year. Seem to go about in a bit of a haze, because you can't really believe it's 40 years ago. Yeah.
He's still remembered so fondly today, of course, and that's why these memorial gigs and these events are taking place to remember him. What can you tell us about Adge Cutler? Because people know the Wurzels as they are today, and they recognise the faces and the names of the band members, but Adge was there right at the start?
He was, I think he was before his time. He'd great faith in the songs that he'd written, and his manager at the time, John Miles, who was still our manager when we fortunately made it to number one in 1976, he had great faith in him. He was the only person, really, because how can you sell songs about Common Market coming to Stanton Drew and the various sort of champion dung spreader all over and Mend It Tonight, Drink Up Your Cider. How do you sell that to somebody who's never seen him before? Very difficult. And he'd, as I say, he'd great faith in his songs, and it's just a real tribute to him that they're still being received today.
Well, would Adge be surprised, do you think, that the songs like that we all know that song and many others as well, would he be surprised that the songs he wrote are still so well known today and still being played, and you guys are still having hundreds, thousands of people turn up at your gigs?
I don't think so. I don't think he really would have been surprised. He might have been surprised at the generation who now follow us at the age groups. He certainly might have been surprised by that, because he didn't like to be classed as a folk singer. He was just writing songs for the folk, not as a folk singer. And he was writing with a view to that they would be remembered in Somerset, and not particularly all over the country and internationally. He was writing them for the people of Somerset.
What was he like as a friend? We know his character as a front man, very charismatic, but from your point of view, knowing him as you did, what kind of guy was he?
Oh, he was brilliant company. He was absolutely magic company. I used to love being in his company socially. I remember one year I flew out to Bilbao in Spain because he loved Spain, and he'd stayed 6 months in a place called Guernica, which is on the northern coast, on the Basque coast. And he used to go out there every year because they allowed him to have credit in the local bars, etc. Because he was out looking for land to buy for a property developer in Bristol. And because he could speak fluent Spanish and he also spoke fluent Basque, he was out there, but his money ran dry, and he didn't have the money to get back to this country. So everybody in there, they treated him like a king. Excuse me, Ben. They treated him like a king.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've got to go and see this, because we had a week off, and he was going out there, and the Southampton football team were mates of ours, and they were playing in the old Fair Cities Cup against Bilbao. And they said to me, come to the match, come to the match. So I flew out, just booked the flight, went to Bilbao, got on the train with the cows and the cattle and sheep, and made for Guernica, thinking I could just go. It was a tiny little place, but there was something like 36 bars in this place.
Yeah.
And I went round asking. They called him Senor Allen, because his name was Alan Cutler.
Yeah.
And every single person knew him, and they just kept pointing me in the direction for where he was. And eventually I found him. And when I got there, I walked in the bar, and he says, "What is doing here, Tomer?" I said, and you can imagine, I said to him, "I've been looking for you for the past hour." And so I had a great time with him there for a week. I mean, I couldn't speak Spanish, I had no phrase book, but everybody knew him, and he was a king. And they were devastated when they got the one who was killed in the car crash.
I bet they were. Yeah. Well, tonight's gig in Bristol, have a great time, Tommy. I hope it's a really good one for you and the guys, and a perfect way to remember him tonight, isn't it?
Well, we look forward to it. We've got a good band on with us, the Skimity Hitchers, who do are great, and it's being promoted by Matt Bartlett from Bridgewater to Midnight Mango Promotions, who gave his services free when we come up with the idea of doing that fundraising for the floods.
All right, Tommy,
So
good for you, and have a great time tonight. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks ever so much, Ben.
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Tommy
Ben.
Banner
Bye.
there from the Wurzels, speaking about that memorial gig tonight in Bristol to mark the 40th anniversary of the death of former lead singer of the Wurzels, Adge Cutler.